All right. Let's go in here. Sound, yeah, looks like we got sound in. Okay, that's that one. Almost ready here. Okay. All right, I got everything set there. So I am getting started a little bit early this morning. For folks that might be new or watching this after the fact, my name is Tim, and I go by FoamyGuy on GitHub and Discord. This is Saturday morning stream. Usually I'm actually a little bit later, about 30 minutes later, starting about, actually about 25 minutes at this point, starting about 25 minutes early. So if you do watch this and are interested in seeing more things like it, you can check back on Saturday mornings around this time. About 25 minutes from now is when I usually start. Kicking off a little early because I'll also end a little early because I got some other stuff going on later on today. How's it going, Johnny? Good morning. So I am going to start with just trying to figure out if we can narrow down what we saw in this accelerometer last night. It was been us the same reading over and over. So I'm gonna kind of poke a little bit and see if we can't figure out why that is, or see if we can get it to give us different values or what's going on with it. And then after that, depending on how long I end up spending on this, after that I want to work on something a little bit different actually for my stream. Usually my stream is focused around programming or project development, but I will do, oh my goodness, this cat is going crazy. I will do a little bit of 3D modeling, which I think I've done here and there on the stream before, but not very frequently. So to start with though, yeah, we can have this. We want device workspace also. Okay, so I am going to, I believe we're back to Circuit version. And the simple test. Maybe let's try fast. Okay, those are changing. And they're changing a lot when I pick it up and turn it around. And I think much the main difference between this and the simple test is some sleep, right? 1 second, extra prints. Time is not defined. That's good. All right. Let's take the actual simple test. Okay. So we're definitely getting different stuff now. So then, let's see, did the changed version somehow lock it into the same results? And then carry over after the fact? Like I didn't set the mode back to whatever was making it not do that, vice versa? So what I'll do is go here, rename this to not this. Whoops. We'll put the modified one back in. And to start with, we'll just keep the simple test of the modified one. Keep the simple test library, keep the simple test script running with the modified library, that is. So yeah, we had import error for a while. Now we got this, and yeah, if we move it, we get different values. Far so good. Either what we saw yesterday is a complete fluke, or we somehow caused it by sample code I tried to use to test the PR. It was this, which was basically same stuff, except also import this. Set it to FIFO mode, and then print sensor.FIFO acceleration. Okay, let's change this up a bit. Let's make it, and try to see if it is actually the case that setting it to this way caused it to get stuck. And I'm going to try to see it a little more specifically than just running this and seeing if it happens. What I'm going to do is, oops. We're going to run for a little while So we start with this false. If it's not FIFO mode, go in here. We keep track of the time at the beginning. And here we go if the current time minus a timeout like 5 seconds. If that's less than the start time, we want to switch to true. Basically, we'll run for 5 seconds. This will be false during the first 5 seconds, but after that, current time minus 5 seconds. We do want greater than. Is it greater than? Current time minus 5 seconds will be greater than the smart start time. When that happens, we're going to set this to true, which means next time around we're not going to go in here. Instead, we're going here, where we will print this. I don't know if we need the empty print, but I'll keep it. And let's say either way, maybe we'll sleep for like 0.3. So we have enough times of going through here. So the last thing is we want to put this in here. When we go to FIFO mode, we want to set this. Yeah. How's it going, Paul? Good morning. I think this is what we want pretty much. First 5 seconds we do normal version. After that we change to FIFO mode. And so if we see changing values during these, and then suddenly we start seeing same values when we get to here, we know that after we switch to FIFO mode, it started giving us the same values. We were still getting different values as of the last time this was running. Save that and let this run again. Move it around some too, definitely getting different values. Looks like we're just getting different values today. Well, no, these are all stacked the same. And the lines here. It did change at some point though, because this is different. All three of these are different. So the pattern seems to be pretty much the first row, which these rows are just wrapped at a somewhat arbitrary point based on the width of this thing. So I'm thinking of it as a row, but it's probably not tied to the row. It's tied to how many things there are. It's tied to something else where just coincidentally it lines up with the row. But the pattern seems to be the first row does get different values, But then once we get to after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 readings, we get a chain of the same one over and over. 1, 2, 3, 4. In this case, the fifth one is actually the same as the fourth one, which is the same as all the rest of them. So in this case, we actually got 1, 2, 3 different readings, and then all the same, except they do actually change. Down here, they change to a different value, but then do give us the same. Interesting. So is it reading really, really fast? Oh, to the chat. It's a cute cat. As a word wrap, sometimes you can resize the window, get it to show itself, be much more readable. In case you don't want to part that output. In case you don't want to parse the output, it's weird, but it works sometimes. Yeah, I do play with the width sometimes. How's it going, C. Grover? Good morning. Well, maybe it's just that but then why we get 5? We get a few, 4 or 5, 3, 4, 5, something like that. We get different ones. Then we just have a long chunk of the same. And sometimes we get a change towards the end, but another just chunk of whatever that new reading is. But it is changing from chunk to chunk. Like our FIFO lists here. Actually, this one ends with the same one this begins with, but then it gets different, 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 and then repeated. I don't necessarily think I'm going to understand what we're going to find in here, but I will take a quick peek and see if maybe I can figure out anything in this that makes sense to me. Download. Oh, that is a UF2 file. That is a different thing. Did we not download? Where is download? Link? ML view? Security code. What? Wait, is this like a CAPTCHA? This is a weird CAPTCHA. Okay, I'd say so. Very unavailable. That's unfortunate. FIFO? Edit FIFO? Register? Hoping to find like a level description of, oops, like what to expect from this mode. but I don't know what's the difference. I don't know what's bypass mode or FIFO mode or stream mode or trigger mode. I don't know what those mean. We know the bits we can set them with, I guess, but you have PyCharm add-in that emulates the mu or atom plotter capability might help to plot the patterns. That is a good idea. I don't have that plugin. I'm not sure if one like that exists. That'd be pretty cool. It's a good idea too, but probably not accurate enough to ensure all row values are identical. Different. Yeah. I mean, I mean, the plot would show us some interesting patterns, but the printing them out, removing duplicates would definitely get us the exact thing. I don't necessarily need to be too exact though. Like mostly I am noticing a bit of a pattern and I'm just trying to see if that's expected or not. Pattern we're seeing. But since I don't know how the mode is expected to behave, even if I did find out the exact pattern, I still don't know if that's good or bad or correct or not. Okay. This is more like high-level descriptions of stuff. This is normal mode, low power mode, FIFO mode. That's good to know. Yeah, we're not necessarily finding a description about what this means. I don't know. Certainly possible. I don't know much of anything about the chip or too much of anything about the driver, truthfully. I don't have much experience actually writing the kind of drivers like this I2C drivers and stuff. I mean, we could take a peek at what it tries to do, certainly. So we've got those modes, FIFO modes here. I also just chose FIFO. I have no idea. Bypass FIFO stream to FIFO disable. I guess maybe we could use that to get it back. But it also seems fairly normal now. Let me switch back to the simple test real fast, because also one of the things we got yesterday is after I ran this for a while. Actually, let's just restart it once. Okay, so that's interesting. Those weren't the exact same? But they were kind of the same. And I was like picking it up and turning it around. We definitely should have had more variance than that. Yeah, now I'm moving it around a lot and we're getting no variance anymore. So after it's run a few times, it seems like then it gets stuck. Onto 1. Let's try going back to mode regular, mode disable. No. So what was stream was one of the other ones. Let's try stream here. And I don't really expect anything different this time it runs. FIFO mode must be FIFO mode. Ooh. Huh? Who wants to play? A quick game of Octopus on the String for a second. Value less than 0 or value greater than 2. And it was 4. But didn't we set that last time? Didn't this not fail until I changed that to stream? So confused by this. This is the module LSM or LSM 303DLH. LSM 303DLHC. The one that's currently in the store is the AGR. That's true. Yeah, I don't have that one though. I've only got this one. Yeah. I think that's the guide. I think I have that guide open. If not, I did a little bit ago. Yeah. Although the DLH part seems to be for the magnetometer, which I don't think we're messing with in this example. This is confusing. I swear I could have swore, I should say, this. I thought this worked once. Like I thought we made it through to here and got into this stuff. But this sure looks like 4. And This sure looks like it wouldn't allow for, so we must have missed saw. It's not have actually run, or else something even more strange occurred. Shoot. And I think this fails because we don't have this, which is a different library. It's basically because it was one library, but it was very big because it has so much stuff on it. So now it's multiple libraries that break out the different parts of the sensor, or different sub-sensors or whatever. I don't know if it's like how it actually works, if it's different things in there or what. So the magnetometer is giving different values all the time as I turn this, but the accelerometer is still stuck. Okay, setting aside that I don't understand why we're getting the same value over and over again, and whether or not that's expected, this logic does seem wrong, right? Because it tells you FIFO mode must be a FIFO mode. But you're not going to be able to pass these two? Well, I mean, you could pass them, certainly, but it will just raise this error. And this will never occur, because if this was 4, it would have been greater than 2, we would have raised. So we can't actually get to this code. If I understand it right. And then this else would be like, if we could get down to here, it would be like it's either 0 or 1 or 2. And all three of these, all three of those numbers, 0, 1, or 2, would all be covered by this pathologic. So 0, 1, and 2 would all three do the same thing, which is whatever's here. 3 technically would also do the same thing if it could get to here, except for the fact that this would make it raise. See if I have one, be interesting to see if the mag driver shows similar. It does not. It doesn't seem to, at least. I did add the other driver, and the mag sensor does change over time as I move it. Turning it around is what I'm doing. But the accelerometer is still stuck. I suspect if I reset, like, power this down and let it reboot back up, I guess we'll probably go back to getting different values. And I will do that here in a minute. I'm going to leave this comment, though, because I'm thinking this can't be... Thinking this logic is not quite right. It's either got to be like if, else if here, or maybe check for 4 first, or yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem like these different things do different things. I guess the difference in 0, 1, 2, and 3 would be that it's setting that 0, 1, 2, or 3 into here. And here, I guess, as well, cached and regular. Does something read it from there? I don't know. I mean, I guess it's getting written to the register, so we suppose the chip reads it and does something with it. If the value is greater than 2, but also if it's 4, can you do that? Not really. I mean, you can write it, but it doesn't appear to. The thing it appears to me to do doesn't make very much logical sense because yeah, you would never. Basically, this code could never run. If I'm understanding things right, this will never happen because value can never be 4 after this if statement. Because if value was 4, inside this if statement, this would have been true. We would have then raised this here, which means we would never even get to this line of code to check if it's 4, so we could never go inside of here. So I think maybe this, I mean, maybe this is supposed to be 4, since it goes up to 4? Or the only other thing I could think is like, our constants, do these not work how I'm assuming? Are these not just numbers? Are these like, do they change to like binary bit numbers or something? It's still just a number, isn't it? Just a number that does something different with memory or something? I actually know what it does. Oh, why didn't I paste? It's like a number to me. Yeah. It's good to know I've learned some Python. Nice. So say intention is that any of these are valid values. first if statement. What are you getting into, buddy? Okay, so now I am going to just power down, reset, and see. My hypothesis is we will start getting different values for acceleration after I do that. Right now, we're still getting the same ones. 03306, 000, and 9791. That's the value we're getting every time, and I am picking this up and turning it around. Magnetometer is changing. What I'm going to do is unplug the feather, wait for a second, and then plug the feather back in. Close this. This will reconnect, and we are getting different values now. Okay, so we'll say, I'm not sure if it's perhaps related to contradictory if statements mentioned above or not. I have also noticed after running this set mode, this one, this one. Okay. Cap for a bit. This back down. Okay. We will see. We'll wait a bit for contributor to come back and see if they can offer any insight onto how it's supposed to work, and if our assumptions about this logic are indeed true. Let me on this one. Oh, the boy has returned. Hey, hey, hey. Okay. I think that's good. We kind of unraveled the mystery of what we saw yesterday a bit, which is the main thing I wanted to do. I can't. It's part of my nature. I can't just see something like that and not dig into it a little further. So I figured it'd be nice to do that on stream in case anybody saw the old one. You could get some resolution on that if you're like me and really wonder what is going on. A little more specifically than just this thing miraculously starts returning the same value and gets stuck. So we made it to that. Next thing I want to do is off the path of my normal streams a bit, but it's going to be some 3D modeling. I do think I've done this before on stream. I think even I worked on the same 3D model that I'm going to play with today on stream. So if you're interested, there is an old VOD somewhere out there on YouTube. I don't have the URL loaded up for it. If anyone is interested in that, I can try to track it down for you by looking back through the dates and stuff. But what I am doing is remixing this. I have an idea in mind to make a different version of this type of thing. This one is modeled after an Etch-a-Sketch, so it uses a PyPortal and two rotary encoder breakouts. Stemma rotary encoder breakouts, importantly, so we have no soldering in here. It's just a stemma wire there, stemma wire there. And there's actually a third stemma wire coming off of this one going to another sensor, which is not pictured on this picture. But what I would like, and I have the camera here somewhere, what I would like just to focus a bit. Like this one. So we have this, but what I want is another one with this thing down here instead of the knobs. Like beneath the screen, joystick and D-pad there, and they'll just be here mounted to the front of the case. There's little screw holes in the corners. So we'll have 4 little cutouts, and this will screw into the case and just be mounted right below the screen. The knobs won't be here, so those are gone. This is the only thing here. And, you know, at that point, it'll be like a little gaming thing, right? You can kind of hold it like this. The knobs are in the way, so it can't quite be, you know, exactly how I want it, but like, you know, you're holding it like this, and you got a joystick on this side, and you got the D-pad here. You essentially have a nice big PyPortal screen there to play your games on. So the idea here, of course, is just, you know, making a little mini game, you know, handheld game system, so to speak, or hardware out of a PyPortal and this, which is the Feather Wing keypad joystick thing? Joystick Featherwing? Joystick, well, that one's got a TFT. Joy Featherwing. Yes, Joy Featherwing. So this is meant to go on feathers, which I don't necessarily intend to use it on a feather. In this case, it's going to be on the PyPortal, and I am going to connect it via the stemma cable, but I'll basically solder my stemma cable to the correct pins on this. So I'll probably end up actually buying another one to use for this because mine does have the pins, and I think the pins are going to be kind of deep. I don't know that it would be a deal breaker. There might be room for them, but they're kind of in the way, truthfully. And if we had that flat, then we could just solder into those pins, into those pin holes, rather than putting actual breadboard pins on it. Here's a video of when we got mentioned. Hey, that's awesome. Thanks for pulling that up. Appreciate that, Paul. That one up here, yeah, I did. I don't remember how much of it I did on stream, but I do remember tinkering with it a bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we were working on the back plate that day, looks like. You know, I will say one of the things with streaming and recording all the videos, it's actually really fascinating to be able to go back through your own work and see what you were doing at a given time. Actually, yeah, it looks like we got the front of the case going there as well, so did a bit of that stuff. So yeah, that's the video if anyone is interested in the old case. And what I'm going to do is basically just remix that one because it already has the Pi portal in place. I can just take out the holes for the knobs and put in a little cutout for the Joy Featherwing there, and should be good to go, I think. Know where I did save this, though, I will say that. Sketch. Let me go find that first, actually. Did I call mine the bad name, Etcha? There's Knob Sketcher. This is a different one. Sketch hid. I mean, I could just clone it again, I guess, but I'm sure it's here somewhere. I don't know, wherever it is, it's not in this one. We will. I'll open it in PyCharm. You know, PyCharm doesn't have the 3D modeler. Ultimately, is what we're aiming for, but we'll open it in here because it does have some other files. My guess is front.scad will probably actually have both the front and the back, hopefully. My guess is there'll be different modules inside there, which are like functions in Python. There's some extra photos. The case, including ones with the last sensor. The last sensor bolts onto the back plate there, and that is a accelerometer sensor, MPU 6050, and it's used for shake to erase. Do we want the accelerometer for the game version 1? That's a good question. I had imagined it without the accelerometer, but truth be told, you could add that in there, and some like handheld game systems do make games where there is an accelerometer, and You could play the games with it, like flying games or something like that, or racing games. Right. I mean, we might as well leave the holes for it, right? If nothing else, the holes don't bother anything. Um, we can just leave them in the back plate there, and if we want to attach that later on, we can. That's the beauty of the whole stemma connection there, is it's like very easy to add and remove stuff from the circuit. I wonder if we could work a stemma connection into the feather wing. It's probably not that easy. How's it going, Dexter? Good morning. So yeah, we do have the back plate here. So it's been a while since I messed with this model code, so I will have to take a quick kind of skim through here and see what we've got. Pipe portal mud out cutouts, difference. So this is basically just our main thing. Back case. Back screw cutout. Outer shell. Outer shell is probably the front side, I guess. Surprised this is uncommented. I don't see the pipe portal rendered anywhere. Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, that bit's a little confusing. I'm not sure why that would be uncommented, but not actually seeming to do anything. Or I'll say not actually seeming to draw the pipe portal at the very least. So first, okay, there's our pipe portal now. Maybe it was a difference? See the difference though. I think this doesn't like having a comment inside of a comment. So now we've got nothing. And what we want to do is outer shell. What you doing, buddy? Keep the accelerometer. The Pi badge one has Oh, the Pi badge has one built in and it's fun. Gotcha, nice. Holes are good for cooling enclosed TFT displays. The backlight on some gets surprisingly warm. We could add extra holes to the back. It's a good idea. Had to put a fan in a Pi portal case and use the light sensor to dim blank the screen to keep it cool. Nice. That's also a good idea. Thanks for the heads up. We will cut some extra breathing holes in the back. It's a nice thing about going back and remodeling an old part like this is you have a chance to make some improvements to it. Oh, I see what happened before. We were only seeing the back case before because of the exclamation point. I forget about the exclamation point. That is a fascinating thing that no other programming languages I know have. It's like a reverse comment. It's like when you have the exclamation point on a line of code, it only executes that one line of code when you run it. In this case, that means you only see that one shape that it's making. Which is kind of a cool thing. It does make writing your code easier in some cases because you can like narrow down to one specific bit of code without having to change everything. Just throw an exclamation point on it. Yeah. So there's both cases. Well, both parts, the front case and the back plate. And then the Pi portal is here in the middle, which of course we didn't print the Pi portal, but I did stick it in there in the model just to line up and make sure the four corners were good and to make sure the cutout for the screen was in the right place. This made it super nice being able to actually put the model of the hardware into here while I'm building the case. So first thing I'm going to do is make a new copy of this. We might as well probably just make a new folder. Portal handheld game sounds good for now. Let's save a copy of this in there. Change the name to case. It seems like I had named it front because I probably made the front first and then didn't just kept working in the same file. We don't need the encoder anymore. I will take the Pi portal. Hold for the light sensor. I've used it for primitive gesture detector. Yeah, we could do that. I'll have to figure out where it's at. I think it's on one of the ends, right? One of the short ends would be either over here or over here. We should make a module out of the front case. Module front case. I think that's the light sensor right there. Yeah, I did. There was something else I wanted. I mean, we might as well also make a cutout for these other plugs here, right? I don't have a specific use case in mind. We're already using the center one, which is the stemma port, but there are two other ports here that are just like ground voltage pin or whatever that is, SGV or something. So we might as well have a cutout on the side for those. That will open up the case some to let the heat escape. That will also allow us to actually plug stuff into those if we ended up wanting to use them. I'm going to make a notes file. SD card slot? I do, yeah, we should definitely do that because I do also want the ability to save high scores and stuff and like save your game state on the SD card. You could even potentially pass games around on the SD card. So yeah, that's definitely a good call there. We definitely want to do that. It might be hard to get to the SD card. Because it's kind of far in there. So basically we'd have to just widen the USB plug area. So we could just make this wider. You'd be able to get to it, but it's such a... We might need to make it bigger even. It might just need to be a bigger hole so that you can actually get your fingers in there to be able to pop the micro SD and put a new one in. So first, let's get rid of the rotary encoder cutouts. Encoder cutouts are here. We might as well just put in the same spot the Joy Featherwing cutout. Is there a simple way to convert from Eagle to OpenSCAD? I don't know. Honestly, I don't have pretty much any experience with Eagle, so I would not be the one to be able to answer. What I can tell you is OpenSCAD can, I think they call it import. Let import. I have no control clicks, which is Brutal for me coming from PyCharm. I rely on control click a lot. Yeah, they have an import thing which allows you to import an STL. So what you might be able to do is if Eagle can export an STL, then you can import into your OpenSCAD that STL. Now it treats the entire STL as one thing, right? So like I can't just go in and like, make this connector bigger or something, or like remove the button or something. Like I can't just go make individual edits to this. It comes in as its own full shape, but it's really good for like making cutouts for something or for lining up holes like the mounting holes on this and the USB plug and the screen hole on the front. It's good for that kind of stuff, but yeah, it's not a full-on just like convert it to OpenSCAD language. Stop with the scope creep for now. Wait. Can accommodate an attached speaker for reaching annoying noise levels. Does it have a plug-in for a speaker? I don't remember. Is there a little two pin thingy on the back there for a speaker? And then we need to find a speaker that you can mount also, probably with hardware, because we'll need to like cut holes for it and use screws probably. There is, yeah, 1816 speaker. Oh, this doesn't use that little small connector. This actually uses more like one of those 3-pin connectors that are beside the stemma. Oh, it's a breakout. This has its own small one. Interesting. Yeah, the one with the little breakout there seems like probably the easiest to work with. 3-inch diameter, that's awfully big. SD card extender. Interesting. Didn't know this existed. Just like sticky tape it somewhere and. Huh. Are there different lengths of ribbon cable? Because we would only need maybe like an inch or two max, I think. Huh. Something like that. 68 centimeters, this one, 26 inches long. You can barely hear audio from the small over speakers. 3-watt I2S. Is that the one I was on? Is this a different one? Maybe do something like this. This is also getting on the big side though, I think, right? This is 2.8 by 1.2 inches. It does have mount holes. It does have a different plug though. I'm pretty sure this is too big to plug into that one on the back of the Pi portal. Yeah, we'll have to see on what kind of space is left over and how we can work in the speaker. I mean, I do believe the PyPortal has a speaker on it too, so I mean, like, it's small, but some sound can come out of that. One of the things we could do is when we add holes for the heat venting, we can make sure to put one in the spot where the speaker is. So I'm pretty sure this is a speaker. And in fact, you'll have to cut that if you want to use a plug-in one, probably. Oval speaker on the PyPortal is very loud. Oh, stretching it out. Okay. So one thing I am going to do is try to get this feather imported in so that we could build our cutouts from it. I want to say it's in this repo. Unless you want extra volume. I see, okay. Okay, so I do need to, do I have this downloaded? No. I will clone this, I might as well just have a copy. I do remember I started looking into this one day, and I did... ran into is this is F3D. I need a way to convert that, so, and I don't know... I think somebody told me, Paul, it might have been you, Paul. Somebody told me this is free for trial or something like that. Maybe we can try free trial. Maybe we can try using it for just converting this. I don't necessarily need to do anything huge with it. Students and educators. You know, I'm kind of somewhere in between, I guess. I don't necessarily intend to use it for business, but I'm also not, in the context of this project, a student or educator. I do teach programming classes sometimes. What? Okay. I have a login? If anybody who is watching does have Fusion 360 and is willing to do a quick conversion to an STL for me, I would be most appreciative. I will go down the road here of trying to get this to do it. I forgot about this, that it's not an STL. Some of these are in STL already, and some of them are in, is it OBJ? I think OBJ you can convert to STL pretty quickly. Loading Fusion now takes a bit. Nice. I will keep going because there is stuff I do want to play with it. But I definitely would appreciate it. So I'm gonna have to do forgot here because I definitely did not even realize I ever signed up for this. Solve the puzzle, place the dot at the end of the car's path. What? What does that mean? What does this even mean? Place the dot at the end of the car's path? Where is this car? What is this? This is like... I have no idea what this is asking me to do. I have zero idea what this means. The car's path is the color? The end of the car's path. Selecting the end of the colored line. What is the end of the colored line? The car is in the middle. There's tons of ends. There's an end here, there's two ends here, there's an end here, there's an end here, there's an end here. Boy, this is a silly CAPTCHA. I gotta be honest, this is pretty silly. I don't have any idea what I'm supposed to be doing. I mean, this is the end of the line that's the farthest away from the car. Okay, I'm a person. Hooray. That is not an ideal CAPTCHA design in my opinion. I don't necessarily deserve to have too much of a UX opinion, because I don't think I'm that good at UX either, but I don't think that's very good. Or at a bare minimum, it needs better explained. Like, if the actual goal is the furthest point away, then I should say maybe the furthest point away. Let's see. Oops. Sure. Signed in, but not. Some of the path is obscured, but you can deduce the end. How can I deduce the end? How would I have any idea where the car is going or which way it's headed? It could be going either way. That last car was in the middle of the line. It's like not one path. Oh, that is beautiful. Thank you so much, Paul. Very, very, very much appreciated. Thank you for that. I will try to get this trial because I do want to play with it. I've always heard good things about Fusion. Can you script Fusion? Could I make a... maybe that's outside the bounds of the free trial. Could I, if I get my free trial running, could I make a script that goes through this entire repo and finds any files that are Fusion 360 and converts them to STL and saves them and makes a new commit? Then I'll make a pull request from that. That way, like, they'll always be in both. Well, the existing ones will be in both. I'll look into that if it's scriptable. That would be pretty cool. We want the game, handheld game. Didn't open it first. I will change the name here just to make it easier to import. Keep the v1. So I like underscores instead of spaces. It really doesn't matter, but I don't really need the product number either. It's almost definitely going to want to translate this. I'll change the zeros once we know which way. Whoops. We are probably going to want to rotate it too, almost certainly. So we'll get ready for that. Grab this. Right there. Okay, there it is. We definitely do want to rotate it around, like upside down, which is around the x-axis, is at least the way that I think about it. But you could actually do a number of axes, I suppose. So I'm thinking 180x. Flip that thing over. And then we want it below the PyPortal screen, which we're pretty close to already. We are going to want it centered, which we're going to have to do some math for later on. For now, I'm just going to kind of eyeball it a bit. So we want to come negative x, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, 30 or 40 millimeters probably. Too far. Not far enough. Too far. Wait, maybe this was, yeah, okay, that's actually still too far. That's looking close. I'll come back and do the measurement to get it centered, like actually centered on the PyPortal, or centered within the case. I think the PyPortal, yeah, if I recall, yeah, this gap is actually a little bigger between this edge of the screen and these mounting posts versus this edge of the screen and these mounting posts. So the screen's actually off-centered just a teeny tiny bit. Off-center in relation to the posts. Maybe, or maybe not off-center of the actual case, I don't remember. It's so small of a difference, and the screen is so large you can barely notice it if you don't line it up with the holes. That's really the only way I noticed. But we'll come back, we'll find the actual length, we'll definitely center it up. I can barely figure out how to create an object. Maybe ask Noah or Pedro. The free version of Fusion doesn't have library add-on support like the paid version. I was trying to make one of those 3D animated GIFs for Whippersnapper component, but couldn't. No library support means it won't find stuff like resistor capacitor for the board render. I gotcha. Is it? I think it's kind of expensive, isn't it? How expensive is it? Is it a monthly one or something? Can you like, if I buy it for a month and then do a bunch of stuff with it and then get rid of it, or? I don't actually know the pricing model. In my mind, I think of it as pretty expensive, though. Let's have a free trial. Okay, $70 a month. That's definitely very pricey for 1 month of software use. That's definitely very pricey, but it's like within the realm. I could pay $70 for that, especially if it does let me do the conversions. Somewhat somewhat selfishly, I want to go through and make all those conversions. That way in the future I could use all those parts without needing 360 anymore. And $70 is kind of a lot to spend, but not like an astronomical amount. And we could get a lot done in a month, I think. Okay, so we want to come down Y as well. That's probably too far. I'm actually going to poke this out the front side as well. Obviously, eventually we're going to have a cutout for it, and we don't right now, but what I'm going to do is just poke it right out the front by changing the translate here, which is negative. That's a little too far. I am also going to be wrapping up here before too long. So we got this imported in here, and I introduced the idea. I've definitely still got a lot of work to do, but I'm headed today to a mechanical keyboard meetup. Go check out all kinds of neat keyboards and stuff. So I'll be leaving for that pretty quick here. Oh, I guess I do get a choice of joystick. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. We get a choice of joystick on the right or joystick on the left, because we can just switch that thing around. Right? We can have it this way or this way. And I mean, based on the writing on the silk screen, it goes this way, but nothing's stopping us from putting it this way. If we get our cutout, like perfect. See, this is the other thing I think where we don't want the pins is we don't want these little nubs on the top here, because we really, honestly, I want the top of this face to be flush with the underside of the plastic right here. There's going to be 4 holes for the corners. There's going to be a rectangle-ish cutout for the center of this thing. And those 4 holes are awfully close to that rectangle, and then these little nubs make it so it couldn't be flush. These holes are going to be tough, honestly, with the cutout there. I wonder, maybe we just cut out the joystick? Maybe we just cut out the square there, and then a square here? We'll have to play with that. For now, I will just switch it around to joystick on the left, since that happens to be the way the words on the silk screen are written. I don't know if we'll keep it that way or what, but we'll just rotate that. We can go around Z, and we should be able to go 180. Flip that right around. That does throw off our translate, though, since our model was not centered, so we actually do got to tweak some of the rest of this stuff now as well. Okay, this is now going too far. Button caps. We don't. We can't really put caps, I don't think. Well, to the best of my knowledge, we can't really put caps on these ones because these are the small, very, very, very small actuation on the top there. But as far as I know, there's not ones that clip onto there. But I don't know for sure. They're not like the taller ones, like on the High Gamer. It's got ones that they stick up a little taller. And they're a bit different than what we've got here. So if there's a kind of cap that works on these and fits in there, we could definitely do it. But if not, then we'll just roll with the buttons how they are. Okay. That is pretty good placement for what I'm thinking. So we certainly still need to work out how the cutout is going to work, and we need to get our holes cut for it. I'll probably make a module for these holes. I will also see, is there a, not data sheet is not the word I'm looking for, but like the measurements, like the CAD file for the measurements. Because if we can find the measurement of those corners, that would be nice to just include. Yeah, this thing, right? Yeah. So yeah, distance from center of mounting hole to center of mounting hole, 1.8. Inches? Probably inches. Probably inches. 45.72 millimeters. Yeah, that looks about right to me. I think that's probably right. There's also some other helpful measurements like the width of from here to here, 0.7 inches. It actually happens to also maybe match up with the outline of this, which I guess is the edge of the box of the joystick, which is helpful to know. Didn't realize round button caps were for that style tactile switch. Nothing in the Adafruit store for the small round ones. You're right. I gotcha. You could have top hat shaped bits. Oh, I have done 3D printed buttons before, but well, 3D printed button caps. They like sit on top of the buttons, and then you provide like a countersunk hole for them. Something like that may be possible, but I think that the feather wing would have to be deeper in, like further down behind the front case, which as we move that down, we're also causing our joystick to sink into the device. And I want the joystick ideally to be flush with the outside if we can. Pretty close to flush. So I don't know that we would have room for those little printed like cylinder cap things. At least the style I'm thinking of, which I probably can't explain very well, but it's one that I did before on a project. Joystick is pretty big. The box for it definitely is pretty large, especially for the Featherwing form factor it's on for sure. I will save a copy of this in my little working folder here. That way I just have all this stuff together when I sit down to work on this next. I don't think I need the circuit diagram yet. It's pretty simple. It's just I2C. You connect to it. I did connect to it and test this out as well. Even on a PyPortal, I did it through the stemma port and everything. So I'm pretty good to go on the way that it's going to connect and the way the driver works and stuff. Has a cap that's not shown, yeah. For the joystick, that's true. Not in this one. Well, it's kind of this thing, but yeah. All right, I think that is about what I'm going to get to for this stream now. I'm going to head out now because I am leaving to go to that keyboard meetup. So huge thank you, hug reports to Paul. Really, really appreciate converting that over for me. Thank you to everyone watching. If you're interested in this project, let me know. I will probably do some more work on this on stream at some point. I do want to do a bunch more of the case. I realized, we didn't really get too much done. We took out the holes for the other one. We got this in here. Luckily, though, a lot of this was already done for the Etch-a-Sketch, so there's actually not that much to do. We just need to punch 4 holes for the corner of this and figure out how we're going to do the square cutout, or maybe 2 squares, like one for this and one for this. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe we want to expose the middle ones too. We'll have to see what we're going to do with that, but that's where we're at. So thanks for watching. I hope everybody has a good day and a good weekend and all of that, and I will catch you all next time. Thanks.